Welcome to Sound Values, powered in part by LSA Burger and Classic of Denton.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in live tonight on DentonRadio.com, located in the beautiful Discover Denton Welcome Center on the ever-chilly Denton Square tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Kind Beats. You are right here on Sound Values, and I am here with the man with the magic hands. This is Vegas right here. How you doing, my man?
What's going on, homie? I'm doing good,
yeah,
man.
I'm doing
it's
well.
Good to be here.
Yeah, dude, it's great to have you. It's great to have you. Now, a lot of y'all are tuning in might be like, Vegas? Who is Vegas? Well, Vegas is a magician. And I had the privilege of getting the ability to DJ the show that he played with Richie Flo and Monaco, which I thought was like really cool that there was a Vegas and a Monaco, because like there's like a Monaco hotel in Vegas.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
That's what I thought about very first. And at first when I saw the names, I wasn't sure if it was Monaco Vegas, because it said Monaco.
That's what a lot
Vegas.
of people said about the sign outside of Andy's.
Yeah, we all
Who's
thought,
this Monaco Vegas guy?
Yeah.
Why is he hanging out with Richie?
But that was one of the coolest shows that I've been a part of. You know, I've played a lot of music, but that was just such a different, cool experience to watch all of that happen, and it was quite successful, man.
I would like to think so.
Yeah.
It was a good. We put a lot of marketing into it. Mark Zimmerman from Deep Wax helped us out a whole lot with that too.
Yeah.
And then it was really cool to find other magicians around.
Yeah,
I thought for the longest time I thought I was the only guy who did what I did, and I would hang out with my friends and show them tricks, and it was just something I did growing up. And then I met Richie Flo at a party, and then once we started hanging out, it just went from here to here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All the ideas and everything.
So kind of like you were saying, you're like, I felt like I was kind of the only person who was doing this. When was the first time like you saw magic and you were like, this is what I want to do, this is wild and crazy, and I'm going to be really good at this?
I was 10 years old, and my grandma had told me to record this guy on TV called David Blaine, and it was his first TV special. I think it aired in '96, but I didn't see it till like 2003 is about when I started. And I sat there and I watched the whole video all the way through, and I was like, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
And I went online and started learning all these different tricks and found websites that sold books and stuff like that. And then ever since then, it was just.
So you just was like, that looks cool.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can completely understand that, man. When I was in high school, I had a good buddy named Scott Thomas, still a good friend of mine. And he was the first person who I ever knew who did magic, like really well. Like we were all in basketball, and so of course, like he would go and he would sneak a card into our backpack while we were in practice. He learned how to pick locks, so he'd go pick our locks, and then put cards in there. Yeah, and then he would come up to us when we got done with practice. He'd come out there because we'd all be sitting down waiting to go to class, and he would come up and do these tricks to us and just blow our minds, man. So it was, and that made me want to go home and figure out how to do a few things. But like I had like a deck that was like it was like a magic set deck that I had from like I was 10.
Really?
And like the cards were shorter than some others, so when you're like flipping through, it stops at, it was.
Better start giving away secrets. Man.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
It's all good, dude.
No, but see, that's it's like that's what I'm saying. So that was, you guys are always like, here, go through the cards and all that kind of stuff. So when you're starting off, what's kind of like you said you got some books, you did this, but where do you start at, man? Where do you start when you're learning?
I guess it depends on what you're looking to do. I mean, there's all different kinds of styles of magic and different props that you can use as your medium to get your sleight of hand across. Some people like sponge balls, some people really like coins, some people like cards, some people like. It's all different kinds of styles of magic and.
That'll go away.
Some people just like to pick like a pin up off the table and do magic with it. So I guess it just depends on what you're looking for.
Okay.
For me, I always liked, at least in the beginning, I liked gambling-based sleight of hand. Like how to cheat at cards was one of the first things I started to learn how to do, and just like the techniques behind that. And then that just developed into hardcore sleight of hand. I didn't really like using props or anything else besides my hands and a deck of cards.
Okay.
And then when I started hanging out with Richie, he was showing me all these different ideas that you can apply to sleight of hand and using extra props and going just beyond, hey, pick a card. Which, I mean, I understood it, but I didn't realize how big it could really be and how well it could play. And when we decided to do a magical evening and get the stage show started, every day we would hang out, we would go through and we'd have this set list of what we wanted to do. Like bands have a set list of the music they're going to play. We would think about what ideas we wanted to do and how we were going to get them made. And some of the tricks we did were last minute. Like we were thinking, like we had the final trick I did at a magical evening where the card ended up inside the pack of gum.
Yes.
That went through so many different iterations and variations of, okay, we want to do this. That's cool. Can we make it better? Yes. Okay, so we're going to add that now. Can we make it even better than this? Yes. And it just kept going on, and just having more than two eyes on it and having just more opinions and more people to come in and help us out and be like, hey, that's no good.
Yeah,
Change
man.
that. Or,
Like, and then like the coin in the beer too, man. Like
that's an old effect of mine. That was when I would do that in high school. I don't want to say of mine. One that I performed that I learned from another magician. That just stellar techniques. And when I saw that for the first time, because I like to only do magic that when I saw it for the first time, it fooled me bad.
Yeah.
Like I saw that and I'm like, okay, no.
Yeah.
That's no. Do that again.
Yeah.
Like if I see something and I say do that again, I'm gonna learn how to do that. Because if it blows my mind, I'm like I'm all
yeah.
about
You got to
that.
figure it out.
Mm-hmm. And there are tons of magicians to this day who you can run into, and they will just show you something that just is it's unreal. Like there's no way you could do that. And even me knowing all these different techniques and ideas and principles on how to be deceptive, they just still are.
And see, that's what's so interesting to me about this craft. Is that you really do learn a lot about how the eyes and the brain works.
It's incredible.
Based on like if I'm going like this. Are you going to look here and even pay attention?
Yeah, magic works because you're polite.
Secondary?
If I say, hey, look at me, you're going to look at me because you've been trained to your whole life.
Yeah. Most likely, I'm not going to be doing, our attention is focused on a certain area, and it seems like y'all are experts of learning where it's focused and figuring out how to keep it to, our attention away from whatever's going on.
Yeah, my goal is to be a master of your
happen.
attention.
Yeah.
I want to master where your attention is at. And that was always the thing that scared me about being on stage is that there's at Andy's, we had like 60, 70 people just
staring right at you.
Yep. Okay, don't want to mess up because Joey was out on stage and he's like, all right, you guys ready for Vegas? And everybody's cheering and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. God, am I ready for this? Can I really do this?
I don't know what I'm doing.
I went out there and just blacked out for 30 minutes. And then people started clapping and I was like, okay, I did it.
Yeah, I dropped Kendrick Lamar's "Don't Kill My Vibe" and you like threw your hands up.
Yeah,
like,
man,
yes,
that was
feeling it.
Probably the one of, if not the biggest moment for me.
That was the single best DJ cue of my entire career.
Yeah.
Besides my cousin's wedding with Uptown Funk, that one worked out
there
well
you go.
too.
Okay, cool. That's tight.
All right, man. So you kind of see this, you start doing it. I've seen you perform. And then you said okay, you kind of have to depend on what kind of magic do I want to do. Do I want to have bigger props, smaller stuff, more sleight of hand, that kind of thing. So then when you start, how does someone go about practicing magic? How do you go about practice? Is it just sitting there with a deck of cards and doing? Because you can watch Richie and he'll just, like it's a part of his hand.
Yeah.
When people start playing music, it's sit down and do this, do this, do this. What is the process of practicing?
I guess it's the same as practicing anything, because when I see, I'm a big fan of music too, and Primus and Les Claypool are, some of my favorite artists. So when I see Claypool on stage and just strum his hand and touch a few notes and it makes like all these crazy noises, it's just somebody sitting in their room just practicing over and over and over again. Cause I grew up a nerd.
Yeah.
So I was always hanging out in my room just practicing my craft and wanting to make it better. And that's really exactly how it is. I'll find certain techniques and I'll just practice them, and then I'll practice it in front of a mirror, and then I'll do it so many times that even I don't see it. And then I'll find my wife or a close friend and I'll say, hey, watch this. Or my sister was always big growing up too.
Cool.
She always sat and helped me out too. So anytime I would have a new idea, I'd practice it until I couldn't see it, and then I'd go to somebody else. Because if I'm doing something, it's only my point of view and how I see it over the top of my own hands. But you have such a wider range of view that it's important that I go show somebody I trust who will say, hey, that's good, or hey, that sucks.
Yeah,
because and that's the biggest thing too, is people want to be nice, and it's like I appreciate you want to be nice to me, but if I go out and I show this to somebody and I mess up, that's my reputation on the line. Don't let me go out there looking stupid. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah,
get a giant ketchup stain on your shirt, I wouldn't be like, all right, you look good, go out. Got it.
Yeah, get on out there, you look fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was actually going to be the question: is when do you know? It's like, okay, so here's how you practice, but when do you know the trick is ready to show people? You know, to show the average Joe on the street who has no idea, what he's looking at. Because it's one of those things where it's got to be like 100% or no percent.
Exactly, and that's, I guess it almost is like the artist curse too. When you see something and you've seen it so many times, you're like, I don't know if anybody's gonna feel this. It's like when you make a new song. It's like you've heard it so many times and you like it, but it's like, is this gonna translate the same way that I feel out to other people?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's always really scary for me too, especially with magic, because not only are people looking at what you're doing, they're also looking at how you're going to mess it up, or because even
And
the
people love to see a musician or a comedian, or not a comedian, but a magician or a comedian mess up.
oh, they love that. It's
Yeah.
almost as good as the show for them, which is why I kind of moved into comedy magic to where
Yeah.
something messes up, I'm like,
That's the thing, yeah,
ta-da!
yeah, man. It was great, and I've said it before too. Like as a musician, because I've done stand up just a couple times just to see what it was like, because like my buddy Joe, it used to be Joe Coffey, now just going by Joey Johnson. Like I would watch him, and I'd be like, man, how, this has got to be kind of nerve wracking. I need to know what that's like. I've performed on stage with an instrument and stuff many times, but I have no idea what it's like to just get up with a mic. Because even if I bomb as a musician, there's still noise going on.
Yeah.
I don't have to listen to that audible silence that's going on, man.
It is very loud.
Yeah,
you know
and
what I mean. That silence is very loud.
Yeah, it really.
Very you can almost
it
kind of
really is.
feel it.
You got to make you got to make sure it's 100% on that, man. And like you said, you're like, I just got up there and like blacked out when I did that performance, and I mean, it was flawless. Maybe you don't remember it, but I do.
Yeah.
And it was perfect because I've told so many people about some of those tricks, man. That just. I was like, my God.
So your favorite was the beer one, right? The palm and the fizz off.
Yeah, because that was the thing, man. That was like science. It was like you manipulated like physics and chemistry. It wasn't like, oh, hey, there's like a coin behind your ear, or like, hey, I'm gonna do this. No, that was something where I watched you shake them, and then you went like this, and things changed. I was like, I have no clue how this was done. What is necessary to make that work? I have no clue. And I told Jake about it right before we were sitting here talking. I was like, man, it's just one of the wildest tricks I've ever seen. So the question is, like, how do you sit down and come up with a trick, especially an original one? What's the process? What do you have to go through? Because there's so many different dynamics of it.
I guess it just depends on your creative team. I had Richie and Monaco, which I don't know if I could personally think of a better team to have behind me. We've just had another guy, James Wise, who's been performing with us recently too, who actually I met in high school and showed him his first magic trick, and he got into it about as big as I did, and then it kind of spiraled out. So it's really cool that we get to perform with him now. But I guess there are just certain, for lack of a better word, techniques that you can do that you can put together in a series that tells a story. Because that's what a magic trick should do. It should tell a story with a few twists in it and have visual representations of what I'm talking about. So I have a pack of playing cards, and I want to do something incredible with these cards. I want to predict the card that you're going to pick. And if I just have you pick a card, you put it back in the deck, and I say what the card is. Sure, that's cool, but there's no magic with that. It's the feeling and the story and just the whole performance and the theater of it. Because we like to say we do magical theater. Like we do magic tricks when we'll run into you. It's like, hey, want to see something real fast? That's cool. But our shows have a very cohesive flow, and each individual trick will tell a story. Because when I wrote A Magical Evening, the big thing is keeping people's attention, and I wanted every trick to be almost like a YouTube video. Like this trick is all encompassed here. It's 2 or 3 minutes. There's a story. You're into it, and then there's an ending. The trick is over. It's like, okay, so that large buildup had a finale, and that's, I guess, the hardest part is not necessarily building the trick, but making you want to understand it. Like, I could do the palm and the fizz off from one can to another, but if I don't get you engaged on why it is, like I was talking about, palming is the technique that we use to secretly hide stuff, but we really can't. Everybody knows. It's like, I really palm something, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But you think you would because you know what palming is. So I get you hooked in with that part of the story because you're like, okay, he's obviously doing that. And then it actually happens. You're like, okay, whoa. That really shouldn't work. Man. But
so there's another part of the craft that your average cat doesn't think about is the story that you're creating. I mean, that's the same with a good comedian.
Yeah, exactly.
A good comedian has a quality story. And even I think about when I'm writing music in the form of a story as well. It's interesting how film, art, painting, drawing, magic, all of these kind of performances and these artistic ways of expressing yourself kind of at the end of the day come back to the story that you're telling to connect with the audience, the listener, the reader.
Gives you reason to care about it.
Yeah, that's something that I never and see, that's what I appreciated so much about your set was how it just flowed so cohesively, and like every time a trick ended, it was boom, on to the next one, but in a very flowy way. It wasn't like all of a sudden you're like, okay, we're done with that trick. Now I'm going to throw some cards out. It was like, okay, that process is done. Now I'm going to have your attention for a quick moment of speaking, and then I'm going to move into I need a volunteer and somebody up there. It just flowed so well, man. And like that process, I was like, man, I can only imagine how long that kind of thing took. Like, how long did it take for y'all to prepare for that?
Months, 3-4 months, easy. And the thing is, we had all these different tricks and okay, so I'll give you a good example of one of them. So my original set, I had this idea. I never figured out how to do it, but I had this idea of having somebody come up on stage, pick a card. I was going to be chewing a piece of gum the whole time. I was going to take the gum out, stick it to a bat, and then hit the cards and have your signed card appear on the gum on the bat.
Okay.
We worked on it for so long, and we couldn't figure out how to get it right. And then eventually Richie said, what about doing it with baseball cards? I was like, that's cool, because it kind of brings a more cohesive reason to why I have the baseball bat in the first place. And then we ran it through with baseball cards. Still didn't work right. David Copperfield has this really, really, one of my favorite pieces of magic ever is him taking one of the world's most expensive baseball cards and having somebody sign it. He tore it into 4 pieces, put it back together, ironed out the creases, and then pulled the signature off. I can't do that. That's crazy. So, I mean, it was like a $250,000 baseball card he did that to. So we couldn't figure out the baseball bat trick. So I thought, Copperfield has a torn and restored baseball card. I've got all these baseball cards. Why don't I do something like that? Kind of a little homage to Copperfield. And then I found a place for it in the set. But that's just an idea of, like, we started with that for months. We tried it, and it just couldn't work. And we're getting real close to the show, and we're like, we have to cut this. I'm like, I don't have time to cut this. I want to keep this idea in the show. I want this to be a part of it, but we had to just figure out a new way, and it ended up being better than what I wanted originally.
Was that where you tore the card and then you like flicked it and it was back together again?
I put it back together piece by piece. But yeah, at certain points I'd flick it to show that it was put back. And I had that guy come up on stage and sign the card too, and I gave it back to him. Awesome.
Yeah, you had quite a few of my friends up there that night too. That's
oh,
what
did
I
I?
was
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. My friend Tiffany, she was like, that was the one who did the coin in the beer.
Okay.
That trick, and she was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
She was like, I was standing right there, and I had no clue.
That's one of my favorite pieces. I've been doing that one since I was a kid. It's one of my favorite pieces of magic. I'm glad I got to include that in the set too.
Yeah, man. I can remember, like you said, you've been doing this for a while. I'll mention my buddy Scott again because he just did these so well. The first thing he ever did was he just like you said, he palmed this card on me. He just came up to me and like I remember I was sitting there like this, and he went like that, and he had a card in his hand, and then he came back and then went like that again, and the card wasn't there. So he had pinched it right here, and then he turned and like showed me how he was just doing. But he was like, I've been practicing this for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To where I can move this card and keep my hand positioned appropriately.
It takes so long because not only are you learning how to do the technique, but then you got to watch out for eye lines. Like this right here is a big eye line.
What is an eye line?
Where your eyes are at. So this line across where your vision line. So I'm always looking to manipulate that line. So I'm looking for a flat horizon to match up with that eyesight line to keep things concealed. And
see, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to know how the tricks work. I'm more curious about like the outside guidelines of like not the trick itself, but like the trickery on the eyes and the brain and like how that all works, man. I wouldn't even know where to like start with one of my like the first question though, because I feel like if I'd be like, that's giving away kind of a secret, Yeah. But like like you said as well, that you and once again, what do you teach as far as martial arts? I don't want to like get this wrong.
I own a Brazilian jiu-jitsu school.
Okay.
With my dad out in Corinth.
Nice, man. Okay, cool. And so like. How does magic and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, how are those two, how do you do both of those?
It was, I've always liked to do stuff I thought was cool.
Okay.
Because if I see something's cool, I want to try it. And that's kind of how jiu-jitsu was for me. My dad loved the UFC, and we were looking for something to do to hang out, so we go and we try jiu-jitsu, and I fell in love with it because it's almost like magic. I'm looking for certain grips. I'm looking to make you think I'm doing something when I'm really looking for something else.
That's what I was
kind of make you relax a little bit. Like if I wanna push you away from me, I'm probably gonna pull you towards me because you're thinking, oh, I don't want to go towards him. I want to move away, which is really what I want in the first place. It's a lot of misdirection and things like that.
Okay, so that's what I was saying. I was like, maybe I can get a little information if I relate this to jiu-jitsu rather than magic. If they're similar at all, you're like, yeah, because I'm trying to make you think I'm going to do this while I'm actually going to do this, so then they're leaning one way and that gets them off center to where you can do another thing, and the next thing you know.
Just trying to be one step ahead. That's the whole game. I'm trying to be one step ahead. I'm trying to think of how you think it's done, and then I'm going to switch it up on you.
Man, that's crazy. So was was this the one at Andy's? Was that your first kind of show?
Yeah,
of that,
first
of
ever
that
up
way?
on stage like that. Yeah, in front of the most people I've ever performed
Man,
for too.
that's so cool. Though.
It was a lot. It was a lot all at once, man.
Yeah, that must have been. And so you said you met Richie. You just met him at a party.
Yeah, I met him at a party
And
one
then
time.
how'd you guys start talking Magic though? Like, did he have his cards with him?
I guess he knew. We had mutual friends who were there at the party, and they were talking about how I was going to show up. Because we'd always kind of heard about each other through the grapevine. It's like, oh, that Vegas kid, that's cool, Richie, but Vegas can do some stuff like that, too. And I'd hear vice versa. It's like, that's cool, Vegas, but Richie blew my mind last week, and I've seen that already. I'm like, all right, who's this Richie dude? And then finally, we were at this party, and he's over there. I can hear some cards riffling, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'm finally going to get to meet this cat. And then we shook hands, started talking. I think we hung out in like a corner for the rest of the party the whole time. Because you first meet another magician, and we have this joke among us where there's like a certain card trick. If you show that card trick first, I already know you're not serious about it. And so he started naming all these different like big magic names like Paul Harris and things like that. And I was like, okay, this guy's for real. Let me see what you have to offer. And then we didn't hang out for a while. And one day, Mark and Richie started talking about this, a magical evening. We wanted to bring magic to Denton because I guess there hasn't been a magic show like that before, and we wanted to start the scene out here.
Yeah, I mean, and I remember when Mark came and told me, he was like, hey, we're going to do this magical evening. We would like for you to DJ it. And he was like, do you want to do it? And right away I was like, yes, 100%. And and I'll speak for just a minute as somebody who's kind of been playing music and has seen certain price tags on what venues are charging.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, what, 20? I think it was 20 or 25. Like,
20 pre-sale, 25 at the door.
Yeah. And I remember when people were like, oh, we don't really know. And Mark brought it up to me, and I was like, no, I think that's fine. I was like, I mean, he wasn't asking, do you think it's go? He's like, yeah, we're going to charge $20. And I was like, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, first off, nobody's ever experienced this. You know,
it was something new.
Yeah, it's something brand new, and people want to come out and see something that's brand new and want to be a part of that. You know,
I mean, if there were like 10 other groups of magicians,
exactly,
going around Denton, that'd be one thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to charge $20 for a show that me and my 3 buddies are going to play when you can come see us at Backyard for free on a Sunday.
I mean? Yeah,
yeah. So it was super well done, man, and I enjoyed it, man. I thought it was awesome, and I was wondering, I wonder how he and Richie met, because me and Richie met through music. That was how that happened. I moved up here. Was making beats. People were saying, you got to meet this guy Richie. He makes beats. It was kind of the same thing. You know, they're like, oh, well, yeah, this guy Richie. I was like, who is this Richie Float guy? And then, I don't even know. One day I just like ran into him on the streets. Who knows? I think it was through Magic.
Really?
Is how I met him too. I think he just and oh my gosh, I actually still have the card. I just realized it.
Do you? That's a big thing with us. Is we like passing out souvenirs.
Yeah, so I have this card.
Because it's a story you can tell somebody. That adds to the story. Like you had that card that he gave you. You open your wallet and you see it and you're like, oh my God, did I tell you about this?
Yeah. I've got like a little box of memories of stuff from like bands from shows and all that stuff. And so I remember I opened it up the other day. I was like, I don't even remember what's in this. And there's a card in there that Richie signed. And one time Richie came in and he did this trick to me where the card that I selected turned out to be the display card that was on the back of the box, you know? So like I pick whatever card, I don't know, let's just say it was the 6 of hearts. And then the 6 of hearts disappears and he's like, oh, there it is. And it's like the picture, like the display card showing like, here's what the cards look like on the back was the card that I had selected. And I was just like, go away, dude. I'm trying to have fun and relax. You bringing all this devil stuff over here.
Yeah.
Man.
There's some people who just aren't into it. Hey, can I show you a trick? No. No, I don't like that
magic
stuff.
I was going to ask, like, do you run into a thing where some people are like, no.
I don't think me as much. I've heard Richie tell me some stories, but I haven't. But I'm also not as outgoing.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't always walk up to people as much as he does. He helps bring that out of me, you know. Because we did it was Kuzu was doing their Dimensions thing over at Andy's, and we were just walking around doing magic, which is where I started, but it's not really my strong point. I like to be up on stage, and at least now. I didn't know that's what I love.
Now you experience
now
that.
Now I think about magic totally different now. Now I'm all about that. I want to do that all the time now. But just walking around doing tricks, and I still get kind of nervous walking up to people because that's a big reason why I started magic in the first place was to help me communicate with people because I was always really shy and kind of kept to myself. But magic helps me break the ice almost. Hey, can I show you this? Okay, cool. Now we have a rapport. Now I can talk to you and I don't feel so weird anymore. So.
Yeah, you know, and I'm glad that was going to be another question is, you know, what led you, besides saying, oh, this is cool, you know, like what, because a lot of, like, I thought skateboarding was cool. I don't skateboard anymore, you know, so it's like, how have you maintained like this consistency, like staying on top of it and continuing to enjoy it? You
Just
know?
not quitting. I just want
Yeah.
to be good at it. You know,
Yeah.
when I don't like starting something and not finishing. I mean, I do obviously with a lot of stuff, but if I see something that if I can understand that the end is going to be worth all the trouble, then I really want to stick it out. Same thing with jiu-jitsu. It took me 10 years to get my black belt.
Okay.
And
Right
I
on.
mean, I just got it last August. So, and I'd been doing that since I was 15. So it's just that I know if I just grit my teeth and stick through it, through all the hard times and the awesome times, it's going to always be worth it in the end.
What would you be doing if you weren't doing
Oh
magic?
God, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe music.
Yeah.
I really love music. I'm trying to learn how to play the bass, and I got GarageBand on my MacBook, so I'm making all kinds of crazy noises,
Yeah.
pushing buttons and stuff now too. So maybe that, but I don't know. I just it was something that gripped me. Like I wasn't ever good at skateboarding. I wasn't ever good at playing the guitar. Or, you know, it's just something about magic spoke to me. And it's just
It's really cool, man, because it's one of those things where there's a lot of subcultures out there that a lot of us never even think about. You know, it's like you wouldn't think that there's, you know, like quilting. Like
there's a communities built around.
yeah,
stuff
like
that.
I know this woman who is like a world-class quilter, and if I mention her name around other people, like if I walk into Michael's and mention her name, I'm gonna get discounts. Like,
Whoa.
you know, but that's a whole I'm like, wait a minute, what? She's like, oh yeah, I've been on like television and all this. I'm like, for quilting?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I do seminars and fly all over the world. I'm like, for quilting?
Yeah, man.
So
Just you never think about stuff
yeah,
like that.
it's cool when you find these subcultures of people who have a passion for it, you know, and continue doing it. Because are there places in the United States or the world where magic is like kind of more popular, or
I guess Spain is the card magic capital of the world.
Really?
Oh yeah, Spain, Madrid. That's Madrid or Barcelona specifically, but Spain is really
Yeah.
big into card. So some of the best cardmen in the world, like Javi Benitez or Helder Gumayas, they all come from Spain, or Juan Tamires, they all come from Spain, and that's like their thing is card magic. I know where else in the world is really big into magic? Really, Spain is the only place that I can think of off the top of my head. America's obviously got
Yeah.
it really big because we have the Magic Castle out in California, which is like a private club for magicians.
oh
You
wow,
have to be like invited.
nice.
to
It's
come
like
in
an
there.
upscale comedy club. in a
Yeah,
way.
kind of like that. And I think
That's
what's
pretty
his name?
sweet.
Neil Patrick Harris is the president. Like he's a really big magician, and he runs the whole place. Too,
Wow,
so,
I
yeah.
had no idea.
Yeah.
NPH, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So
You can actually look him up on like different talk shows doing magic tricks. He's actually pretty good. He's done some
I'm gonna
cool
check
stuff.
that out, man. So you mentioned Spain. Now I'm gonna say I went to school for history. I went to school to be a history to be a history teacher. What do you kind of know about like? And I studied Spain was like the place I studied colonial Mexico, and Spain were like my focuses of study. I just found that area really really interesting. So what do you know about like the history of magic? Like kind of how it's
Not a lot.
Like-
I know a little bit. I know that there was, I don't know, like the early days. From our understanding, the earliest magic trick is the cups and balls.
okay.
You're
Yeah.
familiar with that? The 3 balls disappear and show up in different places. That's the oldest trick that we know of, because
Okay.
there's like cave paintings in Egypt.
Really?
And different things of
That's
of
awesome. I
people
love
using
that.
the cups and balls and things like that. And then I guess the father of modern magic, and I guess the whole area was like vaudeville, when it was people coming across countries and taking their shows on the road and playing different places. A man named Robert Houdin is who we consider the father of modern magic.
Okay.
Which is where Eric Weiss, better known as Houdini, that's where
Right.
his Houdini comes
That's
from.
what I was gonna say,
is
like-
Houdin. And
yeah.
that's where
So his name was Eric Weiss.
Eric Weiss is
Okay.
Houdini's real name.
Okay. That's wild, man.
He was more of an escape artist than a magician anyway, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was obviously a good magician, but escapes were really his forte.
Yeah, because I mean, the first thing that hits me is when I'm thinking like, okay, the history of magic. You know, you have like, you have the Crusades, and then like the Salem witch trials, and really this like demonization of that kind of trickery and things that could go on. So it's like at some point you feel like magicians would have gone in like to exile, or like would have stopped doing what they did, and then when did it become okay in these areas to start doing things that maybe could have been viewed as black magic?
That's
or
a good
something.
point. I don't know.
You know,
Could you
yeah.
imagine walking through Salem as a traveling magician at
Yeah.
that time? Oh, God, that'd be terrible.
You know, yeah. These are the questions that my history mind comes up with.
And see,
like,
that's the thing too. People are always saying, "Well, that's demon magic," or "That's from the devil." It's like, if I really had demonic powers, you think I'd be playing with playing cards? Like, is that really the culmination of my? Hey, I'm gonna shake your hand, and I'm gonna be really good at bending cardboard. Deal. Sign me up.
That's awesome, man. I never, sir.
Yeah.
Do you really think?
Like, come on, man. I made a coin disappear.
That's when the
like,
card needs to catch on fire somehow.
Yeah.
You know, if we can get, if we can make.
What do you mean, this demon magic?
Yeah, here's what. Yeah, you gotta. I don't know. You gotta have some like a. I don't even know. Now I'm thinking in my head, how would I create a certain magic trick?
And that's how it is. You have an idea. How do I do that?
Yeah. See, that's what's really cool, man, is that it's so I work in like and I compare it to music a lot. I apologize, but
That's
like in
fine.
my medium, you know, I'm on a computer and I have a keyboard and some other stuff. So a lot of it is not kind of it is hands-on, but for a minimal amount of time. You know, like okay, I play it. It's done. Now I can get rid of that. Now I have to master it. Now I have to make it to where it sounds loud enough on these PAs, and these notes aren't too high, and this isn't like this, and this isn't like this.
See, that's something I'd never think about with music too. I think you program it and you plug it into speakers and it plays. Hooray!
Yeah,
we
I've
did
had
it.
friends who are like, "Can you teach me how to make beats?" I'm like, "Oh man, it's a whole a whole world of."
How many years you got?
Yeah, 7.
You
is
busy?
what
You
I've
busy
been-
for a
yeah.
while?
Yeah. So like with you know, is there? So like I said, like okay, it's time to get rid. Like I put the keyboard to the side and now I master it. You know, what is okay? So I'm trying to think of the right way to word.
I guess that would be when I would create the stories, like the
Okay.
process of creating the trick.
Yeah.
I guess just brute forcing the method first.
Okay.
You know, get it down and do it. It doesn't have to be pretty. I mean, it could just be ugly. I mean, as far as I want to make something appear inside of a cup, I put something inside of a cup, and then I work backwards from there.
Yeah. See,
know what I
that's
mean?
that's what I was gonna say. You know, it's like, you know, that's the
This is what it ends up looking like. How do I work backwards from there to make it?
That's
to
what
make it
I
look
was
right?
saying. The combination of magic with comedy was so good, man. Like
Thank
I
you.
was
I
laughing
appreciate
a
that.
lot, and you know, like I love Richie. Richie, don't get me wrong, but Vegas was my favorite that night. I told him too, though. I told him I was like, I love you, Richie. You know, but that's what was good is everybody had a different presence that night. Everybody had a different one. Like
That's what we were looking at,
Yeah,
too.
like Monaco to me was more mysterious. You know, he's a little bit quieter, a little bit more, just kind of like, all right, I want you to pick a card. I dare you. And you were like, get that card, man.
Yeah.
And then Richie's up there just all over the place with all kinds of stuff, man, where he starts off rapping and then the
I
words
love
that he
that. I
wrote,
was-
he uses them
I was
into
like,
a trick.
Man, I wish I could rap because that would be such a cool way
Yeah.
to start the show off.
Yeah, you know, it's like that kind of creativity is just something that I truly look up to that, man. I think it's awesome, man. And do y'all have any what's the next show? What's coming up next? Or do we got anything
I know
going on?
I've got one I'm doing out in Austin. I'm doing the Backwoods official pre-party. My buddy
Okay,
Aaron
yeah.
Tristan is throwing that.
Oh,
And-
you can tell Sharp I said what's up.
Yeah, it's my
Tell
boy,
him-
dude.
Tell
I
him
love
you had
Tristan.
an interview with Kind Beats. I've been bugging him over and over and over for like a month and a half to try to help me find a book a show down there for the summer.
Okay.
And I'm not going to leave him alone.
Good.
Until he
Bug him.
does.
Bug him every day.
Well,
I
he even
love
told me too.
Aaron.
He's like, yeah. I used to work with him at LSA Burger right
Really?
there a couple years
I went to
back,
high
dude.
school with him. I've known him since like 9th grade.
Oh, man,
I've
he's
gotten
good
to see the
people.
transformation, and dude, I'm so proud of that kid, man. Moving out and actually just doing what he put his mind to. I respect anybody who does that.
Yeah.
You got a dream, just go out and do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's good. That's actually what I was going to ask is, you know, how what do you suggest, because you know, some people will say like, "Oh, I got lucky," you know, or whatever, but really it was you and Richie Flo kind of meeting and then connecting. So if there's some kid out there who's watching this right now and he's doing magic in his room and he doesn't know where to go or how to start or even get something going to be on a stage, what would you suggest?
Make friends, man.
Alright.
Go out and talk to people. You know, once I got to meet Richie and he introduced me to the whole heart of Denton and getting to meet all the people who actually make things happen out here, it's been great. And now, because I'm kind of a shy person, I'm kind of introverted, getting put into the situation where I get to meet all these cool people who have been making the shows that I go see and making the music that I listen to and different things like that. Like, it's been great. And I just say, go make friends and go show them what you got.
Yeah,
Just
man.
Don't. Oh man, stay true to your art. Don't change it for anybody. I wouldn't have changed my show for anybody. They'd have been like, I don't like that. Well, I do, so I'm gonna keep it. You know what I mean?
That's perfect, man. That's awesome. But we got a little bit of time left, man. We got about like 15, 12 minutes left. And so I know that you brought do we got some magic, some tricks that we can
I got
see
some
tonight?
Cool stuff that I can
All
show
right.
you.
Cool, man.
All right, here's a cool one. This one, actually, Richie and I have been working on for quite some time, and I haven't figured out the storyline I like best for it. So I've been trying out a whole bunch of different ones, and you're gonna help me with one. So here's
So
what
it looks like somebody Belzo010 said, "Do you sing
Do I sing? I do not sing.
in the shower?"
I
Yes.
don't. Oh yeah, in the shower, man.
In the car.
But in public or
Okay,
nothing,
okay.
no, not yet. Okay,
All
so
right.
we got a pack of playing cards here, and actually, I'm gonna need you to bring your cell phone out too.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna need your cell phone number
Okay.
because I'm gonna because people write and have envelopes and things like that, but those things can be manipulated. What can't be manipulated is your phone. I can't get inside of your phone. So I'm going to do this effect here, and I'm going to send you my prediction of how I think this is all going to end up, or how I know it's all going to end up.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So phone number, please.
So phone number is
you want to mute
anybody out there?
You want to mute that real fast or something?
No, I don't care.
Okay, cool.
940
40
231
231
4275.
4275 for a good time call. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and lock your phone and turn it face down on the table, please.
Okay.
There we go. So I want you to know you get a text message. I just don't want you to know what it says.
Okay. And it was 940 231 4275 is what I gave you.
That up. 940. Say it one more time.
231
231
4275.
That's what I missed. Okay. 231. Okay, cool. So I'm going to send you now.
Okay. Cool. Phone's on silent too, by the way.
Okay, that's fine. So we'll assume you
actually no,
got
it's
it. Got the message, so we know it's there. So here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to square these cards up. I'm going to show my hands empty. I'm not going to do anything weird with this. Square the pack up. So here's what I want you to do. Until you want to stop, don't let me influence your decision at all. I want you to just deal cards face up onto the table, and whenever you feel like stopping, you just go ahead and stop for me, okay?
Okay, cool.
Let's deal them face up in a nice neat pile, yes. And you just keep going until you want to stop. Don't let me influence you. Don't let him influence you. Don't let the people outside influence you. Be your own person.
If only.
It's a good exercise for that then.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I don't know. It's like, you know what? I'm going to stop right there.
That's where you're going to stop?
Yep.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do.
That too.
I'm going to show my hands open. What we're going to do is this is where you stop, so we're going to mark it with a card face down.
Okay.
Okay. So to prove to you that it's a regular pack of cards, what I'm going to have you do is for the rest of the trick, just deal cards face up right on top of that.
Okay.
All the way down. Make sure there's no duplicates. Make sure there's nothing crazy going on with this pack of cards. Just regular.
Yep. Thus far.
Yep.
It's like even if there were duplicates, I'm not sure I'd have in the first place.
Just anything weird, call it out. Be mean to me.
Nah, man. I'd try to be.
Trained you to mean beats today.
Yeah. That's not the first time people have called me that. Got old mean beats over here. I've had to. Yeah, perfect.
All right, cool. So here's what we're going to do now.
Gets.
We're going to take this pack, we're going to turn it face up, and we're going to set it on the table, and I'm not going to touch it again. So, before we started, I had you take your phone out. I sent you a text message because paper and envelopes can be manipulated. I want to do something through the air. Something, again, because I'm big on souvenirs, something that you can take and show other people. So take your phone, turn it over, unlock it, and we'll check my prediction.
It's not right.
It's not right.
It's not right.
It's not right.
No.
What was it?
This says 2 of spades.
That says 2 of spades.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we marked the face down card with there, right? So you stopped. I put that face down card on top of that to mark where you stopped, remember?
I thought it was the queen of spades.
No, that was the card that we put on top of it. So I put a face down card in the center of the pack. So there's one card face up that's different from the rest of these. And you said 2 of spades?
Yeah.
So that face up card, the face down one, that's now face up with the deck face down, it'd be kind of weird if that happened to be the card that I texted you, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Be a little strange. Check this out. Look, if I spread the cards out, you can see only one card is face up. And we have your 2 of spades.
Oh, no way. Oh, man.
Ta-da.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Cell phone magic, ladies and gentlemen.
Cell phone.
See, that's something else, man. So right there, that was incredible.
Thank you. All right. So again, we're talking about souvenirs. I know we got to go soon, but I got one more for you. This is definitely a favorite of mine. Take out any cards you want from the pack and sign your name on the face for me. Any cards you want.
All right. Cool.
Except for that one, I was kidding. Take out.
I was like, we do have a little bit more time, so we can.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, did you? Oh, I was like,
it doesn't matter if I see that. I've seen this trick before.
Okay.
Such a lame line. I gotta cut that.
Yeah.
Nice, the 3-year-old signature. I like
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take your card. We're gonna lose it somewhere towards the center of the pack. Right about here should be good. Now, what all I need you to do is snap your fingers, and if the deck hears it, it should signal for that card to jump up at the top. It's a little weird. It's just a little weird though. So here's what we'll do. I'll make it every time we do this. I'll make it a little bit easier to follow. Okay. So look here. This time you'll see it go. It's still face down, so kind of hard to follow, but you can at least see it go in the pack. Snap your fingers again, with an unnecessary magical wave. You turn that card over right there. should be yours, right?
Yeah.
We'll take it a step further, right? Because again, I'm going to make it a little easier every time. This time we'll leave the card face up in the pack. So that way you know every other card is face down except for your 10 of hearts, right? And I do that for a specific reason. I do that so that we know it's not the card on bottom here, and we know it's not the card on top. But your card always wants to be on top, and it'll brute force its way there. So look here, if it looks like the 3 of hearts, it only looks that way because with a nice rub of the ink, it should start to look a little bit more like yours. All right. So I can
Oh my God.
So now we've done it face down a few times. We've done it face up. We've done it even with your signature on here too. So there's only one more way I can make it easier to follow, is if I put a huge bend in it. So that way it's the only card in the entire pack with a huge bend. But it's because you have a connection with this card. So what I want you to do is I want you to place your finger on top of the deck right there. Okay, kind of like a plunger.
Yeah.
And when I say 3, I want you to lift your finger up. 1, 2, 3. Turn it over.
The card popped up. Absolutely. That was incredible, man.
Magic.
Oh, my gosh.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, Vegas right there on the tricks, man. That was something else. It's like, that's what I'm saying is so crazy, man. I just sat there and watched you rub a card into existence, you know? And it's like,
Because that's what a demon would do.
yeah, exactly. Little do I know, all of a sudden, I'm going to be driving home and this car's going to catch on fire in my pocket.
All right.
Yeah.
So here.
That's amazing, dude.
We're going to take...
Am I keeping this?
Oh, that's for you, man.
Oh, man.
You have that. I love
All right.
souvenirs like that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do now. We're going to take all 4 aces, and we're going to put them in different places of the deck. You know it's going to be a good trick because that rhymes.
Yeah.
See, making beats already.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take your aces, square them into the pack.
Okay.
And then we're going to shuffle. Give them a nice mix. So not only are they in different places, but now they're all shuffled out. All right, so one by one, I'm going to find them. The first one I need your help with. You can call stop anywhere you like.
Stop.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
If I tap a few times, I want you to shoot right out of the center. That's ace number 1. Number 2 is from a simple cut.
Yeah, simple. The simple cut.
Flip. What? Catch. Fan. Now watch. One goes flying through the air with the greatest of ease.
Oh, man.
There it is. Number 2. All right, number 3 is my favorite because it looks, again, oh, it's the 3 hearts again. We'll use a different one. I don't want you to think I'm cheating.
Like, don't do that to me again.
There we go. We'll use the 9 of diamonds this time. But it's only the 9 of diamonds because it just looks that way a little bit. So if I shake it over the rest of these aces, whoops, should look like the 3rd ace.
Yeah.
Not as clean, but it's magic. It's not science.
Once again,
That's the comedy part. See, that's when I make insert joke.
But it's like, you said you just messed up. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I saw a bunch of aces go into a card deck randomly and all come out at the same time, or all
And the
come
last
out.
one shoots. Ace of spades.
Oh yes. Oh, this is what I love. This is when I'm gonna go home. I'll be making a beat later tonight and be like, if I could make this baby make the beat disappear and come back.
That'd be cool.
Oh man, that's awesome, dude.
I appreciate
That
it.
is something else. I will personally invite you, put you on the guest list. March 3rd, we have the Music to Cuddle To release party at Andy's. It's
All
an
right.
album I'm putting out. If you want to come out there and just mess with people, man, I'll put you on the guest
I'm down,
list.
dude.
Come out
March
and have a
3rd, let
good
me
time.
know, dude.
Doors are at 8. Yeah, man. I'll let you know, dude, if you want to come out and have some fun, man.
Sounds good to me, my friend.
Wow, that was cool.
Magic.
I'm blown away, man. So, I mean, before we go, man, you know, I see, that's the thing. Is like when you want to interview a magician, it's hard. Just made a pen disappear.
What?
I was like, I heard it. It's hard to like be like, okay, what can I ask next? Because I don't want to ask a question that's going to give away the way these things work, you know. But I will tell you a personal story real quick. And ever since I went to y'all's show, so I work with kids all day long, right? And so ever since I went, I was like, I wish I could find a way to integrate magic into my daily thing that I do. And so there was this, like, there's like a little bouncy ball, and one of the kids loves that bouncy ball. And so I had it, and I went like this. I just went like that. And, of course, I just made the ball roll down my shirt. You know, I clapped and made it go. And then I pulled my hand away and go like that. And he was like, oh. And then he started, like, looking all around for it. And then, you know, I put my hands down and went like that, so the ball comes out and back into my hands, and he was like, oh, like completely amazed. And so I wanted to just tell you that real quick, that since I have seen y'all show, I've integrated that like into my like my job and like
Good.
what I do and working with kids all the
Glad,
time.
man. Got to spread the magic.
Yeah,
because magic's not what you do; it's the feeling that you give people, man.
That little trick that that Scott would do, just that, and then that back and forth, man.
If I can do this right, it just goes like this. Reappear.
Yeah, yeah, and so that's what I did. Yeah, I was like, ooh, and then but like how quickly y'all do that stuff, man. It's awesome. So, it's definitely, people don't forget about it, man. It was one of the coolest shows I've been to in Denton, and I've lived here
Glad you liked it,
for
man.
about
It was
4 years.
15 years total, but a lot of long nights and a lot of doubt and a lot of just making it happen.
Well, man, if you were gonna, if my opinion means absolutely anything, you did what we call killed it. Like, it was perfect, man.
I appreciate that, man.
It was so well done, and I was just glad that I was able to be a part of it. That was one of the coolest nights for me, man. It was so much fun. But then, man, we've done some magic tonight. We've talked a lot about different stuff. Now, the one thing that I do want to touch on again is, besides the magic, you do jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
And so let's go ahead and shout out your is it okay? What do we call a place that teaches
It's a school.
jiu-jitsu? Okay,
Jiu-jitsu school, yeah.
I was like, I don't want to call it a dojo or a gym or something that is
Gym,
it
dojo.
isn't.
I mean, it's whatever you want to call it. We're not too picky.
Yeah,
As long as you
so-
come train, we can call it.
So what is this place?
It's Top Game Jiu-Jitsu Studio. We are out in Corinth. We are at 1402 North Corinth Street, right across from NCTC. If you know
Okay.
where that's at.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Corinth.
yeah.
Right across the way, right behind the Mexican food restaurant right there.
Oh, dude, I know exactly where you're at.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
used to student teach at the Betty Myers, like the middle school that's down the way from
Yeah,
there.
right
So-
over there. Yeah, so
man.
we're right over there. We've been there for 4 years this April. So come on out and see us. You can find us on Facebook. Top Game Jiu-Jitsu Studio is what the official name of the place is. So look us up. We'd love to have you.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I didn't want to, I was like, I got this opportunity. We can plug the jiu-jitsu
I appreciate
studio.
that.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
hoping so.
Yeah, we might as well, man. And then, of course, you've got the Backwoods show that's going down.
Yeah, that's
Which
going to
is
be
gonna be
March
sweet.
24th at
Yeah.
the Scratch House in Austin. Just look up Trail to Backwoods on Facebook and come out. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to be doing some magic. We got some guys spinning out there. There's going to be some art for sale with my friend Kelly Sims. All kinds of cool stuff. So if
That's
you guys
sweet.
can make it, just have a fun weekend in Austin, man.
And that's
We'll
the
be there.
Backwoods pre-party?
Yeah, it's the official Trail to Backwoods.
I might be there.
You should come out, dude.
Trisna
Come bug him.
Yeah, well, he told me that, he goes, we're looking at having a special guest come and play. He was like, would you be interested? And I was like, yes. And so that's what I've been bugging him about. I'm like, hey, what's up with that? What's up?
I'll
with
make
that?
sure to
What's up
mention
with
it to him then,
that? Yeah,
too.
either tell me yes or no. You're not gonna hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
I just know that if you're gonna get something to happen, especially when, Aaron's extremely busy, I know. But if you want to make that happen, you just have to keep bugging people.
Yeah.
And it's not even bugging. You just have to keep hitting them up. Like, hey, what's up? What's up? What's going on?
Let's get
What's
it done.
going on?
Let's get it
Yeah.
done. I want to help.
So the last thing that I got to say, man, and once again, thank you so much for coming on
Oh,
the
dude,
show.
I loved it, man. I'm glad I could.
If y'all are just tuning in, maybe you just saw it. I've had my man Vegas on the show tonight, an incredible magician. He's got a show that he's going to be doing down at the Backwoods pre-party in Austin. He was performing with Andy's, and he's probably performing with Richie Flo somewhere. Eventually, it's going to
If
happen.
you see us, ask to
So,
see a trick.
yeah,
We will tell you no. No, I'm just
if
kidding.
you just tuned in, you can scroll back maybe 5-7 minutes, and you can, or 10 minutes maybe, and check out some of the tricks that he's done. You can watch me tear my headphones off and walk away like there's some
It is
crazy
mad
magic
decent.
going on in here. Yeah. Man, with the beat drop again, dude.
I
that was
really
perfect,
appreciate it,
see?
dude.
So we're not going to go just yet, man, because we got one more question.
Okay.
We got one more
you
question.
got
It's the
for me,
most
man?
important thing there is. What is your favorite snack?
Dude, anything sour. Sour Starburst, Sour Patch Kids. Probably my two favorites. Sour
Really?
Skittles. Yeah, anything sour
Oh, man,
candies.
that's awesome. Okay, so now I know what to bring to the show next time.
Maybe I'll do some magic with them.
I was going to say,
Figure
yeah.
out how to do that like we did the Jolly Ranchers, man. That
Yeah.
was, that was,
man, there
that
was
was probably
so
my
many
favorite.
tricks.
That was probably
Yeah.
my favorite because that one was 100% original between Richie and I.
Okay, that's awesome.
And
man.
again, it
Yeah.
came from another trick we had, and we're just like, we have all these Jolly Ranchers now.
Yeah, that Jolly Rancher trick was something else, man. I mean, every trick was just like, what just happened there? Just like you just did to me now, man. Now, actually, I do have one more question. I have a million, but the black mat, does it help at all, or is it more just about like, just like having one?
It helps a lot. It helps me pick up cards from a surface, like
Okay.
the mouse pad type surface just helps
Cool.
with
Okay,
the cards
cool.
move. See if I can do. It just is. It's a better surface for the cards to move on versus
Okay, sweet.
the table by itself just won't.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
can't
you've done it so many times.
See,
that
it
you,
gets
oh,
kinda
okay,
flips
yeah,
out, you know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean, it's just not the same.
Okay, cool.
But I prefer a green one. My black one's just the one I carry around with me
Okay.
in my car.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
Because I carry all my magic stuff in my car.
Now, if people, you have a Vegas Facebook, right?
Yes,
Okay,
at
cool.
Vegas Denton Magic. Please go
cool.
like it.
That's
There's
how
a couple
people
magic
go
videos out there.
Go and catch you right there.
Yeah, you need a host for your show? Hit me up. You need somebody to come perform for you? Hit me up. I'd love to help out, guys. I want to be part of Denton. Let me know.
Exactly.
Have me out. I
we
will do
want
cool
you
stuff.
to be a part of Denton.
I will do cool stuff for your show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is the man, the myth, the magician, Vegas right here. Absolutely blowing my mind tonight here on Sound Values. I want to give another shout out to our sponsor, LSA Burger Company, keeping us on the air, and a big thanks to everybody else who keeps this show going
Good
and
burgers.
helps us out. It's delicious.
Good burgers help
We got
all.
Ellie Bell and the Denton Vibe up next. Y'all stay tuned in and chill out right here on DentonRadio.com. I'll see y'all next week.
Peace. Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out DentonRadio.com for new Denton artists and where they're playing next. While you're surfing the internet, make sure you check out our friends Classic of Denton at ClassicofDenton.com.